So here we're in Visual Studio, and what we're looking at here is the script that was detailed in the blog. We won't go into too much detail about what each of these sections are, because you can read a little bit more about that in the actual blog. What we'll do is jump out of the script into the connector, and we'll close this, scroll over here, and this is just the test harness that lets us test the custom connector. So we'll see we've got a Twitter API query, and what this query is going to do is fetch a whole bunch of tweets from the account social opinions. We'll take a copy of that for use later. We can quickly test this connector before trying to use it in Power BI, and that's something that I have normally been doing recently. So we'll click on Start. First thing that you're going to get is a prompt to supply credentials. You can select anonymous, privacy kept as none, click on Set Credentials, accept pop-up again, rerun the connector, and we can see that we've got some data back. Okay, so at this point we've proved the fact that the connector is working. As detailed in the blog, what happens under the hood is when the custom connector is built, a file with an extension .mez is created, and you get to copy that into the custom connectors folder in Power BI. So we'll jump out of Visual Studio into Power BI, and we'll try and use this connector. So if we can click on Get Data, Power BI is going to have a little bit of a think about that, and we will be prompted to select our custom connector. Okay, so we can select Twitter API connector, which is the one that we were looking at in Visual Studio. Click Connect, and we get a pop-up here saying that it's still under development. Now you get control over the display of this pop-up or not, and you set that in the app settings, or the equivalent JSON file, or the custom connector project in Visual Studio. So we'll click Continue, and now we're asked to key in the query. So we can do that by taking the query that we had on our clipboard, so we can do that there, click OK. At this point the connection is going to be made to the Twitter API, and it's going to grab a whole bunch of tweets. We should get another pop-up here, and we can see we've got a recent selection of tweets that were pulled down using the custom connector that we built via the Twitter API v2 recent search endpoint. We can load that into Power BI, and we can see we've got the query here, so we can select some of the fields. We can expand this a little bit here, and we'll get the data back. So that's it. In this demo we've seen the underlying code for the script that is used to create the custom connector. We've seen how to import that custom connector into Power BI, and finally we've seen how to pull some data into the report.